Rozzy is so Rozzy.
It's like in theory, like you said, when he played it out in his head,
I'm about to kill him with this one.
I'm about to kill him with it. Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. He's gonna wake up. This is movie.
Hey, Fur, he had her yawning. Oh my God,
What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense, your favorite barbershop style podcast. I am Tavares Ferguson, aka Ferg, join my co-hosts Buff and Rozzy. Fellas, tell them what's on your mind.
Have you two gentlemen heard of a young man by the name of Charleston White?
Yes.
Okay. I always see him on certain headlines of YouTube videos, but I've never stopped to really watch anything he's had to say. But this past weekend, I decided to, because I saw he was trending. And he did Cam Newton's podcast, and he said a lot of things. I just want to put this out there. So just for those who don't know who he is, he's the first juvenile. He was 14 years old at the time. He's the first juvenile in Fort Worth, Texas, to be tried as an adult. Him and two of his friends stole some starter jackets out of Foot Locker. As they were leaving, a Good Samaritan tried to stop them. One of the friends shot the man and killed him. They were tried for murder. Charleston wound up doing the least amount of time. He wasn't the trigger man. He did some time in prison. When he got out, he tried to, help the youth. He started an organization called HYPE, which stands for Helping Young People Excel. But he's known for controversial opinions, which is why he was trending. I see a lot of people co-signing and leaving the 100 emojis and saying he always spits that real, he always spits that truth. I agree with Charleston White. And the man did say some things that were pretty like, okay, I can rock with that. But I'm not leaving no 100 emoji under somebody who says he thinks it's okay for him to beat his from time to time. Just like you discipline a kid, you should be able to discipline your every once in a while. So you guys need to learn to stop taking the entire package and accepting it and just pick what you like. Just pick what you like out of it, but you ain't got to co-sign the entire interview or the entire person. So be careful with that.
So if they don't agree with 100% of everything he says, they can't put 100 just for that one comment, or?
I mean, it's not just that one comment. I mean, he said, that's just the more recent. I mean, but he said, go ahead.
He definitely, the best way to describe him would be the hood Dr. Umar.
That's a good one.
He says a lot of things that are kind of in your face that if you hear it the first time, you're like, yeah, okay, of course. But at the end of the day, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, dude, but he's right. Every blue moon, every so often he hits on, and I'm not even gonna say he's right. They'll post, like you said, clips. So that clip,
yes,
might be right. So the minute and 17 seconds of his conversation might be right in that single context. Because every time I see him, and I think he's featured a lot on our, when I scroll through our timeline, he pops up a lot. So I'll just, because I try to, keep my ears to the streets, see what the streets are saying. They be talking, sometimes. So, and I'm like, who is this idiot? So he, if you didn't know any better, you would think he was cool with Plies and just a lot of dudes that just be saying random stuff that the hood would agree with 100%. But every once in a while, some of it's just common sense, or he just kind of calls a spade a spade. So he's a mix of
like you said, Umar,
Umar, and Kevin Samuels with his delivery. You know, so he just calls it like it is, and because he's from the hood, I mean, he call out all types of rappers. He calls out everybody.
He does.
He doesn't, you know, he doesn't hold anything back. But 80% of the time, the 80-20 rule, he's a reverse of it. It's the 20-80 rule.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
There was something he said recently. I'm like, okay, I can rock with that. I can't. Maybe it was you said he was on LeBron's.
No, Cam Newton's.
Cam Newton. What was he talking about?
Man, everything. I know he was talking about when you mentioned delivery. Because Cam brought that up. He was like, well, y'all not worried about the delivery with some of these rappers and what they have to say and all that kind of stuff. So he went into a whole dialogue about that. But just that, beating his it's a 3-hour interview, so I haven't even watched the entire thing. I just watched some of it. And Rozzy, look like you kind of wanted to say something. I wanted to give you a shot before I kept going. You good?
No, I have no idea. I've never even seen this because I'd be pissed about it. He sounds like another person that I would not like. So no, I'm good.
Right?
Yeah, you wouldn't. But then, like I said, Umar, every blue moon, you'll stumble across something he'll say, and it's like, you got a point.
Yeah, Umar himself is kind of like anti-rappers a little bit too. So had that going on, a lot going on in sports, and I'm talking about from Ime Udoka calling LeBron. Well, he actually told LeBron to stop bitching, and then LeBron said, "Let's not throw that word around so loosely." And I think he did wind up calling LeBron a bitch and saying, "You're not going to do anything." Mm-hmm. So you got that going on. You got the end season tournament.
He didn't tell him to stop. He said, "Don't be a bitch." Yeah, that's what he said. So yeah. So he's like, y'all need to stop being bitch.
And of course, college football. Man, I have been arguing with so many SEC fans, but I will say this: I am against this 12-team playoff that they're going to do next year. Yes, if they had it this year, my team, Florida State Seminoles, would have benefit from it, but I do not like it. I do not like asking unpaid kids to play extra games for our entertainment. At the end of the day, let fans like me just be upset. That's part of the appeal of college football. They don't always get it right. Hell, we've had 2 champions before. I remember we had Michigan and Nebraska one year. We had LSU and USC one year.
Auburn.
Were they a co-champ?
Yeah, I think in like 2004 or something like that.
I do remember they had an undefeated season and didn't get a chance to play in the
maybe
championship.
I just called them the co-champion, but
exactly. They played Virginia Tech in the Sugar Bowl that year, so they don't always get it right. But that's like, it's over 100 and something teams in that sport. You're not gonna have a perfect system because what's gonna happen is, 13 and 14, they definitely would have beat 10, 11, and 12. They got holes. So leave it like it is. Maybe move it to 16s at the most. But I don't like asking unpaid kids to play extra games.
What does that end up being? 2 more games? 2-3 more games? You look at it, they go to 12.
They're going to be close to 16 games.
Well, that's why I want to do the math and look at it because
one would play 12, right?
Are they cutting any games?
I haven't heard them cutting championship games because and these bowl games and championship games, that's really just more money for.
So most kids are playing in a bowl game. Most people want to play in a bowl game. So that's an extra. All these teams would have been in a bowl game.
You mean teams want to play in a bowl game or players? Because players don't.
Teams.
Okay.
But they want. I think they want to have the as of recent. 10 years ago, to make it to the bowl game, you can't make it to the chip because you got to think if you're not a Power 5 powerhouse team, there's no way in hell you're making it to the big dance, right? But if UAB can play in a big bowl game, that's something to say I played in that big bowl game. So let's dissect it. most of these top 12 teams would have played in a bowl game, right? So that's one extra game they would have played. So we call that even. So 12 playing a big in there. At that point, you're down to 6, right? So now somebody's going to get bye week and all that stuff. So everybody's not going to play the same amount of games. But at a certain point, you would play 6 to... I think it's going to be 2 extra games. I think it'll be 2 extra games. Kind of like now. Like right now, they're going to play 2 extra games.
Yeah, they play 2 extra games. The
It'll add an extra
championship game. They'll add 2 more games past that. It'll be 4 games postseason.
And now it's slightly... Like the regular season will still be exciting, but it takes away from it slightly, because now in today's college football, if you lose 2 games, you're out, you're done. Yeah. Unless you're LSU that one time. But now if you lose 2 games, hey, we still got a shot. So yeah, I don't like it, but I know I'm in the minority on that. Yeah. And I saw all type of opinions about should Florida State be in it, should they not. I'm over it. It's done. They're not getting in. And if I'm an Alabama fan, I don't even know what y'all arguing with me for. Your team in. Let me argue. like at the end of the day, it don't matter what you say. We're going. Y'all not. So I would, if it was my team, I wouldn't waste my time. I'd be like, well, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I think the thing about it, because there's always something to debate, right? There's always something to debate. You can find a way to, like hell. Everybody, all the Florida State fans that are mad they didn't get in this year, or the Georgia fans would next year talking about it'll change everything, right?
And Alabama getting all the smoke because they win so much. But you, like you say, you can make a case for all 4 teams on why they could not. Like Texas, yeah, they beat Alabama, but they beat Oklahoma State in a championship game that lost to South Alabama.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? So where are their quality wins? Washington beat like a couple of 2-17. Their big wins are overrated. Some people say overrated Oregon. And then you got Michigan, who people say, hey, they got caught cheating. They shouldn't even been allowed to play.
There's going to be controversy with everybody. Mm-hmm. My thing was, I said, if you look at what they said they were looking at, like, I try to make it very simple. I try to don't pick teams or whatever. I just say, before you start throwing teams in, look at the criteria. We were talking about wins and losses, right? If you say wins and losses, we talk about strength of schedule, big wins, health, those type things, right? 4 or 5 categories. I think I named 5. I came up with 5 that I really heard people debating a lot. And if you look at it and you weighted all those, they say, okay, conference championship, that was a 5th. Those are 5 things. Big win, your record, conference championship, strength of schedule, health, and I think big wins. Like all those. And so if you like, okay.
Or was it big wins or out of conference wins?
I think it was like big wins, because they'll say like, hey, Florida State beat LSU. That was their big win of the season. They beat these to Clemson. Even Clemson, that was their big wins of the season. So I'm like, okay, if you say you won, and we assign 10 points to every category, right? You can get 1 out of 10. So if you went undefeated, you got 10 points. If you lost 1 game, you got 9. So Florida State got 10 on this category, and Alabama got 9. And I'm not an Alabama fan. I'm an Auburn fan by all means. So I'm like, but if you look at it, because this is what they were saying, these are the things we're looking at. Okay, so you got 2 teams that got 10 points, 1 team that got 9. 2 teams that got 9. Okay, strength of schedule. Florida State's strength of schedule, if you look at it compared to other people, was very low. So I'm not going to fault you for that too much, but let's say I give you an 8 for strength of schedule. So you got a 10 and an 8, but Alabama might got a 9 or a 10. So now we're even. Nothing's wrong with, you won all your games, but there's other factors, and you throw in health, and you throw in, hey, I'm a conference champion. Everybody on that table is a conference champion. So that's 10 points. So when you start looking at little individual things, and Florida State might have got a 47, 46 out of 50, but Alabama got a 47 out of 50, conference champion. We lost 1 point for a game. We got big wins. We got, everybody's healthy. We got all this stuff. So you got 10, 9, 10, 10, 9. Like, it's we got a 48, you got a 46. A lot of people wanted to put all that weight and nothing but that weight in the record. You know, you won 12 games, I won 11. I won 93% of my games. I'm not saying hey, you went undefeated. That's awesome. You might even get a bonus point for that. But at the same time, when you throw in those other factors, everybody was kind of even, or somebody was a little lower on the totem pole and made up for it. In Florida State, that health dropped them. I think they probably got a 6 or 7 on health, right? So when you,
according to the committee, that's what it cost them.
Yeah, and I can buy that. Like if you say, you know, that's it. You know, you got a 9, 10, you got 40 points across the board, and then your last category you got a 7. I watch cooking shows. That's how I thought about it. I was watching a cooking show when I saw it. It's like, oh, if you look at it like a cooking show, you know, taste was a 10, but your presentation was a 7. You lost because you put it on a god brick, you know, or you didn't toast your nachos, you know, you didn't toast your tortillas. That's how people always lose when they make tortillas. So.
But yeah, listen, even the whole reveal, like I actually went to the ACC championship game in Charlotte. And so my plane touched down like a little after 11 and the reveal was at noon Eastern time. So I'm driving home, I'm watching it. And the way they did it, I have to give them props, even though it hurt. It was so dramatic how they did it though. It was exciting TV to watch. And you know, like they revealed the first 2 and then they revealed like, They went back and said it's down to Georgia, Alabama. Then they revealed Texas was 3, and then they revealed Alabama is 4. I was like, but the way they did it, man, it was like great build up. So good luck to Florida State Seminoles. I'm not wishing luck to the other teams. I'm still salty.
Your favorite governor is fighting for y'all.
That's a waste of time. That's a waste of time. I don't like that.
When I saw that,
it was on CNN, and I was like, "Come on, man!"
Like it reminded me of when the city of New Orleans was trying to sue the NFL.
Oh yeah. What game was that?
NFC Championship.
Yeah.
They fought that for a while. I'm like, dude, like you're looking real bad. Your slip is showing. Like,
so that was my first time seeing them in person. Been a fan since I was single digit in age. So that was exciting for me. Wasn't the greatest of games. On TV, I know it was boring as hell, but there at the game, like we were so into every play because we knew once we found out our third string quarterback freshman never played a game was starting, we were like, oh shit, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. So, like, we were, like, into every play, man. So,
and I'll leave with
college football is exciting.
And I'll leave it with this. And I was debating with somebody because, I went to FAM. There's a bunch of Florida State bros I'm still cool with. And I'm like, if Florida State would have beat them 35-13, which was a FAMU score, by the way, 35-14, excuse me. I think that would have, like, over. If they would have dominated that game, that's the last thing I see from you. I'm always questioning how you look. The last thing I saw from him, because at any point, you were at the game, at any point you thought that these boys might score a touchdown and that's the end of the game. Yeah. Like, and that was the thing. And so I'm like, if they would have came out there and manhandled them, kicked them in the chest, they'll be in it. So, Rising, what you got, bro?
Oh, one last thing. Biden told his donors that he is only running because Trump is in the race, that he probably wouldn't even run for re-election if Trump wasn't a threat to being elected. So Biden feels like he is the biggest opponent to Trump to keep him from winning.
Disagree, but okay.
Which may or may not be true, because I don't see who's the strongest who would be a strong Democratic candidate.
Nobody stepped up. We have a Democrat that's running, a congressman, but
dude, we are supposed to be the leaders of the free world, the best of the best. In our last couple of elections, when we look at who we're saying, okay, this is who's going to run our country. This is the leader. These are the people this is the best of the best. I mean, you're putting these people in the same category as Abe Lincoln. like JFK, like even people that you might have agreed with, it's still like they were presidential, and you're like,
I'm gonna forego my question too, since my opening took so much time.
I think who didn't have a question last week? Rozzy?
No, Buff didn't.
No, Rozzy went first.
Oh, so bro, get you another question in, man. We good.
Yeah, you good. You good.
Rozzy, what you got first?
Wow, this house is cute. But can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new BuyAbility tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your BuyAbility, only on Zillow.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
So, speaking of Florida's governor, F. Ron DeSantis, just want to throw that out there. Because we got folks that think that he's a pretty okay guy and he rapes but he saves. So no, Ron DeSantis does not rape but he saves. He just rapes. I got into a little Facebook battle with somebody and I ended the conversation because it was going nowhere. But the end of my conversation, I said that Ron DeSantis chases everything he does with a little bit of white supremacy, and so that even when it's something that's supposed to be for everybody, it's still kind of hard and not palatable for black people. It's even if he does something that might help black people, the rhetoric, and we talked about this, right, a lot of times blaming him for shootings and things like the rhetoric that he throws out there hurts people, regardless of if he passes something that might help you or that you can take advantage of as a black person, as a gay person or whatever. That rhetoric alone stokes fires and everything. So no, Ron DeSantis does not get a pass because he's trying to be Trump light and whatever that is. So no, F. Ron DeSantis. Want to throw that out there. Secondly, Angel Reese is back, and so we talked a little bit about sports. She's back. She's back on the court. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about why she wasn't there. And they're keeping a close hold, but from everything that we're hearing, it was basically mental health. She had to step away. I think the pressure was getting to her. It was too much. And so she had to take some time. And you can say what you will about, well, she's an athlete. She's trying to go to the WNBA, blah, 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 blah. That's how you get those superstars. But we got to remember she's still a kid, man. I mean, she's 20 years old, I think. And it's a lot of pressure for a 20-year-old kid, and everybody can't take it. And so I'm glad she took that time off, got what she needs. She's back on the court now. She's traveling with the team again. So good for her. My heart goes out to her, and I wish her all the best, man, coming back. Shout out to her, man. And finally, I want to say it's the 6th of December. We're recording right now on Wednesday. And like the Temptation said, the Rolling Stone is the day I always remember, because it is the day that my dad died. So hearts out to the family and everything. I want to tell everybody I appreciate all the love that I got on Facebook. I just made a simple post. I was like, I miss you, Dad. And I mean, the outpouring of support, love, and all that stuff that I got from that. So I appreciate all the listeners, all the fans, all my friends that just kind of stepped up and was just like there for me through the day. And truthfully, I'm to the point where it's not like, oh, I can't function today. But even with that, man, that support helps. So I appreciate you guys on all of that. So that's all I had, man.
I should have spoke up before you went through that. So, Dad, you are missed Trust me, I know exactly how you feel when those days come around. We all do, you know. So, do you mind if I lighten the mood?
Yeah, bro, go.
When you were talking about Angel Reese and women's sports, have you guys seen the new movie coming out called Lady Ballers?
Mm-mm. Is that what you just text us?
Yeah, watch that real fast.
I have seen this. Is it a real movie? Or I thought it was just
I think
a
it's on
spoof.
Hulu.
Like, I think they were just like, oh, I gotta watch this. That's gonna be hilarious.
This is my first time seeing this. I don't know. Is this real? The Daily Wire.
Oh,
I don't know, man. It's got your senator on it.
Make it. They have done some movies like What Is a Woman? Now a lot of the platforms banned it, but they've done some movies. Matt Walsh and on them.
just for clarity, listeners, there's a Daily Wire trailer. We don't know if it's a real movie or not, called Lady Ballers, where it's a group of guys who are semi-athletic who found out that they can compete in women's sports by saying they're transgendered, and just so they go back and forth from being transgendered athletes back to cis men or cis males. And the trailer is just one of those, let's call it what it is. You know, it's the one of those, I shouldn't laugh at this, but it's, you know, it happens. You know, it's such as life. And when we have to stop laughing at everything, then that's not a world I want to be in. But outside of that, FAMU won the SWAC tournament. So we are the SWAC champs. We are getting ready to go to Atlanta for the Celebration Bowl against the Howard Bison. So they're calling the Bougie Bowl. I won't be able to make it because there is a lot going on that weekend with my Lamplighters, but if I could make it, I would be there. I think it's going to be a fun weekend. So, Rides, if you can get down to the weekend of 16th, bruh, make it to Atlanta.
All right.
Outside of that, let's go ahead and jump into the questions. I'm pretty sure Sophie's asleep.
She's in the bathtub, so let me see if she's almost done. She
Okay.
might be almost done. Hold on.
Hello there.
Hello.
Greetings, Sophia.
Greetings.
Man, she looks just.
Yeah. How's it going?
What?
Can
How's
You
it,
look
it's,
like-
going,
how's it
it's
going?
going good. It said it's
Yeah.
going good.
you see me? Are you squinting? You got your contacts in?
Nope.
I don't know.
Nope.
Yeah,
You don't know?
All right.
I took them out. Oh, okay.
You don't know?
Oh,
I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep.
did I call you out?
Yes, you
I
called
I
me
ain't get you in
out.
trouble, did I?
You getting in
No.
trouble,
My bad.
man.
So I'm going to sleep after
God,
this.
Daddy apologizes. So, do you have a good joke for us?
Yes, I have an amazing joke. Okay, what do
Let me be the judge of
pigs-
that.
Okay, fine. What's the king of all the art supplies?
I thought you said something about pigs at first.
A ruler.
Yeah.
The king of
Yeah.
all the art supplies is a
Yeah.
ruler.
Yeah. That's
You
a
threw
good
us off
one.
when you
And
started talking about
that-
the pig at first. That
Yeah,
was a
it's
misdirection.
Yeah.
Evil plan.
Oh. You think it's in this hand, but look over here. Good one.
All right. Thank you, baby. Go ahead.
Goodbye.
Go to
I'm
sleep.
going
Bye-bye.
to sleep.
And to be clear, that was the king of all supplies. I thought she said art supplies.
Art supplies.
Art supplies.
Art supplies. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that one. one.
But dang.
Oh man.
Should have used that one in PLDC, Rozzy. You remember we had to come up with a joke a day?
Yep.
Oh man, that's way back. Is that the 90s still? No. Maybe 2000?
2000, I think. Yeah. Because, it was 2000. We had already graduated because we went to AIT in 99, and we didn't go to PLDC till that next summer. So, yeah, it would have been 2000. Yep.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. Buff, you were about to question.
Yes. So, man, there are so many rules when it comes to weddings and how you propose. Like, there's like a certain math figure on how much the man is supposed to spend on the ring, everybody's permission that you're supposed to get, and everything. So, Rozzy, I want you to go first for the new listeners. Tell them, it's kind of funny to me, actually. Tell them how you propose to Jenica.
And then I want the listeners to say who had their favorite proposal.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you guys, the listeners that have been rocking with us know that I am not a traditional person. I like to break molds and do things differently. And this is one thing that I definitely did differently. So my plan, we'll talk through that first. My plan was I had already given Jenica a promise ring. And so my plan was to wait till she slept, or while she was sleeping, to take the promise ring off and replace it with the ring, and let her wake up and see the ring and go, oh my God. And, in my head, that's how it was going to work. She was going to wake up, she was going to see the ring, and she's like going to kiss me and love me and be like, oh yes, I love you. And so that's what happened in my head. And as we got closer to it, I started getting nervous. And I was like, well, what if I wake her up? If she, while I'm slipping the ring off. And so at that time, I was suffering from very severe PTSD and insomnia. So I was taking sleeping pills. And so what I did is I was like,
slipped
one to her. Put a little something in a drink.
Oh my God.
Which is not funny.
I didn't take advantage of my people. So
I forgot how bad it sounds at first.
Like when I said it out loud, I'm like, ooh.
So,
because this is his girlfriend at the time, not fiance or wife.
Yeah. And so I give her the sleeping pill. And so, and she falls asleep, and I pry the ring off of her finger, and I slip the wedding ring on. Beautiful ring. It was exactly what she wanted. Everything she wanted. She'd been looking at this Tiffany's ring. I'm too cheap to actually go buy a Tiffany's ring, so I had it custom made and recreated, but it was the exact ring. Tiffany's don't sue me. So beautiful ring. She woke up, and I didn't sleep at all that entire night, because I'm like, what if she wakes up in the middle of the night? Because I'm in my head right now. And so I stayed up almost all night. She finally wakes up, and I'm just like, how SpongeBob is just like giddy and just sitting there waiting, and I'm just sitting in the bed, and it's 20 minutes she is up and she does not notice the ring. So my plans all crashed at this point, right? I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna go, she's gonna wake up and see it and feel it, it's different. Nope. And so finally she looks down, and she takes a double take, and she's like, is this my ring? And I was like, if you'll have me, yes, that's your wedding ring. Will you marry me? And she hit me and was yeah, and everything. And so it wasn't this super over the top emotional thing. But that was Jen anyway. Jen, when she gets emotional, she gets aggressive. She hits you and stuff. So she hit me and all that. So that was my proposal. It actually worked for her. She laughed. We talked about it. But yeah, it definitely wasn't a getting on one knee in front of the crowd and everything like that. I had to actually do a do-over. So on our 5th year anniversary, I got to redeem myself a little bit to the listeners. Our 5th year anniversary, me and Ferg, we got married in the same year. So we actually planned a trip to Paris and Spain for our wives. And so we went on that trip, and I re-proposed to her under the Eiffel Tower, because I was like, I'm going to do the most over-the-top romantic thing you can think of. And so I took her to Paris at the Eiffel Tower and proposed to her right there at the Eiffel Tower. and got her actual like wedding band, because I never gave her a wedding band either. So she was actually engaged for those 5 years, I guess. So
if I remember that video correctly, she didn't know what you were doing, did she?
She didn't, and she hit me after that too.
Yeah.
She hit me after that.
What are you doing? Okay, so the original. So Ferg wants the listeners to rank them. I want to make sure, just like the playoff committee, make sure they have all the factors. So the original proposal, you wasn't on one knee when you said, "If you'll have me," you wasn't on a knee.
No, I was laying in the bed.
Did you
next
ask
to her.
any of her parents beforehand?
I did ask her parents.
Y'all was shacking.
Okay, you asked her. Does anybody know the formula for the ring? Is it like 2 paychecks or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like one or 2 months. It's like 1 month of income or something like that. You want to try to stay somewhere around there. So, which is 2 paychecks, right? Like 1 month worth of income.
So did you follow that rule?
Trying to see. Yeah, I think it was right at that. With the recreation. The other part about it though is, and this is for anybody who has kids, I asked Haley's permission before I proposed to Jen too. So that is a little bit of because I wanted to make sure she was good with that and she felt comfortable with me, hey, this is going to be your stepmom. And so not only did I talk to her mom and her dad, I did ask Haley as well that if she was cool with it.
Okay. And you had already took her looking at, well, you said she already had picked out a ring she liked. So, okay. All right. Ferg, same question, brother.
So, mine, I guess, was a little more traditional, right? So Z and I got engaged March 16th, 2012. I remember the date. No, March 15th. 16th. We were getting ready to head to a wedding. So backstory is Z had found this ring that she liked, similar to Jenica, right? Like, this is the ring I wanted. So I forgot what store it was. Let's say Zales or whatever. And when I went back to find the ring, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm in a major city. I'm in Houston. So I went to all the Zales around and could not find this one ring. I started second guessing, like, am I looking at the right ring? Because, at a certain point, they all look alike to you. It was like, maybe it was this ring. And I'm comparing it. And then she had a picture. And so she knew that I was planning to propose one day, and so I took it to one store, and it was one of those situations where, oh man, you just missed it. That ring is a custom build, and it's like on tour. So it was a premier artist who was creating her own line, and so she might have had 3 or 4 designs, and so that ring was kind of going around the country, that those sets of rings. So I couldn't find it. So the person was actually able to help me track it down. So tracked it down, got it shipped back to Houston, bought it, all that stuff. She didn't know that I had got it. And so I'm playing it up. So I knew we were getting ready to go. And this is one of those, not ultimatum, but it was one of those conversations where she made it readily known that she was ready to get married and we had been dating long enough and all that stuff. And she was semi-nice-ish about it throughout all that. So what really got her a little antsy was we were going to a wedding of a couple who started dating around the same time we started dating. And we were in like that next month, we were supposed to be in a wedding of another couple who started dating around the same time we started dating. And so for me, it's like they started dating around the same time or even after us, and they're getting married. I'm not even engaged. In my mind, it's like, I got the ring. But this is about a month and a half, 2 months of here, and it's like, I got the ring. I'm just waiting on the perfect time. So fast forward to the day we're leaving to fly to DC for this trip. So like Rozzy, I played it out in my head. I'm a John Legend fan, and we have the song, is it So High or High?
Yeah.
We both like it, you know? And so my plan was to have the stewardess bring us champagne, and I was going to propose on the airplane while So High was playing, right? And I cleared this with the front desk, front gate, and the stewardess and all this stuff, like to the point where I'm nervous like Rozzy. The stewardess almost gave us away because they pretty much, when we were flying Southwest, so we're getting on the plane and randomly the stewardess like, hey, I got 2 seats for you right here. It's like, we skipped boarding groups and all this stuff. It's like, I got 2 seats for you right here. I'm like, she's like, that's strange. I'm like, I don't know, just our lucky day. You know, I'm having a good week. And I had just got promoted at Enterprise. So the goal was I was going to order our regular drinks. It's probably 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. We're going to order our regular drinks. And whatever I order, it doesn't matter what we order. I need you to bring us champagne. So we order our, call it Makers and Ginger Ale or whatever it is. Jack and Ginger. First round. They bring us 2 Jacks and Ginger. I'm like, okay, maybe she can get it. Let me do this again. And Z is a lightweight. So it's 11 o'clock in the morning. We drink it. We're celebrating. We're going to a wedding. You know, I just got promoted, all this stuff. Life is looking good. Hey, let's get another round. Nah, I'm good. Nah, baby. We on vacation, win in Rome, you know, we gon', yeah. So I had to talk into it. Another Jack and Ginger. Kind of made the eye contact like Jack and Ginger. She got me. Guess what she brings? Another Jack and Ginger. I'm like, nigga, help me. So at this point, trying to get Z to drink again is tough. So I get up and it's like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have drunk that Jack and Ginger. My tummy kind of rumbly. So let me see if they got a Tums or, you know, a Pepto. So I'm going to go to the back and talk to the steward. So I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's like, yeah, we weren't able to open for whatever reason, we can't open the bottle of champagne on the plane because of the pressurized and all of this stuff. Whatever it was, something. I forgot. I wasn't listening. I just knew I wasn't trying to get another Jack and Ginger. So I'm like, okay, what I need for you to do is record me as, because I had to pull an audible. I want you to record me as I'm walking down the aisle, because I had camera, as I'm walking down the aisle, and I had So High on playing on my phone, right? And when you get close to her, that's when I want you to pull out the camera and focus on her. You got it? Here's the directions again. When you get close to her, start recording, and I'm going to walk up. That's what I'm going to propose. Got it. We're good. So what she does is as soon as I give her the camera, she starts recording. It's ready, action. Let's go. She starts recording, and I'm trying to get my phone to play. I'm trying to get that right part of the song to play. So she's walking down the aisle. I'm sitting there. I'm on my phone trying to get it together, and all she sees is a lady walking down the aisle with the camera and me walking. And I'm like, so I act like I'm on the phone. Yeah, so we get in at 2. Yeah, like, yeah. She's like, why are you on the phone? I'm like, hold on. And she's like, what's going on? And so the closer I got, the music, I was cueing the music to the part. So when we got, I sped up a little bit, put the phone in her lap, took out the ring, proposed, and yada, yada, yada. And so the whole plane is looking at me like, what the hell's going on? So hit a little turbulence. I was a little shaky. That's what I felt. Turbulence, you know, thunderstorms and all that stuff. And so I proposed and everything like that. And of course she said, yeah, she hugged, kissed and stuff like that. They announce it on the plane. The funniest thing. So then they bring out another Jack and Ginger for me, her, and the guy sitting next to us. The funniest part of all of this was random guy sitting next to us like, congratulations. I'm so happy she said yes, because this would have been the most uncomfortable flight ever. And I'm like, you know what, buddy, you're absolutely right. And then the Fergie kicks in, because they give us a full bottle of champagne. So I'm like, okay, she didn't get the message. I wanted 2 glasses of champagne. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's 6 Jack and Gingers. I don't know if I'm paying for buddies and a bottle of champagne. In my mind, I'm like, okay, that's about $10 a cup. I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, I know how much a bottle of champagne is in the club. I wonder how much a bottle of champagne is on the flight. In my mind, I'm adding all this stuff up. I'm like, Lord, it is what it is, right? You only do this once. And of course, they comped everything. When we got off the plane, they let us get off first, and the crowd cheered as we got off and clapped and stuff like that. So, congratulations to the future Mr. and Mrs. Ferguson. So.
Oh.
And then another funny thing is she was taking pictures of her ring, and once they propose, they want to call the world and post it on Facebook and all that stuff. And she had a 2-hour flight. She had to sit there and be in her. As soon as she landed, she took 1,000 pictures, had them ready to go in her her group chats and all this stuff. So I think Rozzy called me when I landed because I had told the world.
Yeah,
I think I told him, my mom, my dad, her family. I think I told her mom and her sister and all this stuff. And I called them right at that point. I called her mom and her sister right before we boarded because I really wasn't looking for anybody's blessing. But I just felt like it would be the respectful thing to do. I'm very independent.
So. I definitely think yours is number one. So my proposal was on a VHS tape that Tabitha wound up taking back to Mobile. Everybody saw it. And everybody was like how sweet and how nice it was. But once you hear these details, you're probably not going to think it's so nice and so sweet. I did absolutely nothing right. So first off, I left Mobile in November of 2003. And I'll never forget, as I'm getting ready to leave, me and Tabitha hugging, she just bust out crying before she got in her car. And she was like, I can't believe you're breaking us up, or you're doing this to us, or something like that. Like, you're breaking us up by moving up there or whatever. I can't believe you're doing this. So she got in her car crying and left. I'm like, I didn't think this would be the end. No, that's not my plan. So that sat with me. And so a little bit before I left, I had already started looking at rings. So you know how you get the little sales paper in the newspaper. And I remember Kay had this ring and I had it circled and everything. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this. I can afford this. I'm going to get this. So I moved up here and I'm like, man, I might need to move up that proposal because she's feeling some type of way. She wound up talking to some coworkers that made her feel better. It's like, girl, if you don't get your out of Mobile and move up there with him eventually and whatever like that. So she started feeling better about it. But I still wanted to let her know how serious I was about her and that moving up here was not the end of us. So I'm living with my aunt and uncle when I first moved up here, and I'm showing them the ring, and it's like, oh, no, we could do better than that. Because the ring was like $700 something. But it looked good in the paper.
But I keep it clean.
I keep it clean.
It's like, yeah, that's an enlarged. They're like, that's an enlarged picture. Like, that's no, we're not gonna do that. So they wound up talking me into getting something that was much more. I'll just say that it was much more, much more. But in my mind, my dream, I was such a big Martin fan. My dream was always to have you all involved in my proposal. She and I would be out to dinner, having dinner, and then one of y'all would just show up and, be like, oh, man, what you doing here? It's like, nothing, man. It's like, oh, man, you on a date with Tab? What's up, T? You know what I'm saying? And like, hey, I just passed dude that had these flowers, man. Y'all looking all romantic and whatnot. Let me give y'all one of these flowers real quick. And like, damn, oh, man, that's odd. What the hell Ferg doing here? Then Wendell come in there, Sherman, or whoever, Akila, whatever. Like, and then I finally proposed it kind of like how Martin did. But obviously, none of that happened.
You were going to get Brian McKnight?
I wanted him for my wedding. Believe it or not, I did. But my money ain't like that, though.
Wasn't.
I did want him for my wedding.
Wasn't like that.
But so I'm up here, and so my family is like, she was visiting that Christmas. I moved up here in November, so she was visiting that next month. So they was like, that's when you need to propose. That's when you need to propose. And I'm like, dang, I really want to propose in front of my friends because you guys, by us all going to high school, you guys have been every step of the way of our relationship. So I wanted to celebrate it with you guys. But I was like, I guess Christmas Day would be pretty cool. So I put the ring in this huge box because she had wanted me to get her a pair of boots. So I put the ring in the box the size for a pair of boots. And then I weighed them down with like these Bush's, these huge cans of Bush's baked beans. So kind of feel like it's some boots in there. We still have those beans, by the way, with the date on them. I don't know why we kept them, but we kept them. So she get ready to open, and she said she didn't know something was up, but she should have, because we're in one room opening all the gifts, and then we saved that one for last. And when we get to that one, mine was like, let's go in here by the fireplace. And all of a sudden, cameras are coming out and shit. So she said she didn't know what was going on. So cameras is coming out, and I had like a prepared speech in my head. So she opened it. She like, this ain't no damn boots, because she pulled out a can of beans at first, like, oh, what the f? And then she got to the ring box and she opened it up. And I will say her reaction, it was perfect. All of that was perfect. I had a prepared speech. I got down on one knee, proposed to her. Sounds great. However, I never spoke to her about what kind of ring she wanted, what type of diamond, marquee, princess cut, round, any of that. Never talked to her about that. Never talked to her parents about proposing, mom or dad. Didn't spend, the ring they talked me into getting probably was a month's worth of salary. But I just felt like all of that, not getting into the pre-permission, especially from my mom. Like at the time, I didn't really meet her dad, but like maybe one time before. But you know, her mom saw her all the time. And that's something I wish I had back, that I had at least, not necessarily, because I'm kind of like Fer, like I'm not really asking for permission, but I want to at least, I think it's nice to let you know. And like if Jasmine gets married, I would love for her husband to at least, you know, run it by me or whatever. So I felt bad about that, but I just, you know, don't fault me too bad. I'm just not big on what all the traditions are and how you should do it. And plus it was rushed because I didn't plan on proposing to her on Christmas. I wanted to do it in Mobile, but overall it worked out. She was elated, you know. She called her mom right away. We took pictures and everything. So, but I just thought, I feel like mine is last place because at least y'all two women saw their rings. You had an idea. I just got, you know,
I don't think it's about the ring though. That's the thing. I mean, I don't think Tab.
It is about the ring.
Any less about that.
It is.
I mean, it has to be a nice ring. It has to be a nice ring.
Yeah,
but I'm saying it's like if you didn't get the exact ring I wanted, I don't think our ladies would not have said no, right? Like if even if Jen picked that ring, if I had got her something totally different, she wouldn't have said no. She would have complained about it, but she wouldn't have said no, and she would have been just as happy with us because it's about what I can't remember what they say. Do you want the relationship or do you want the wedding? Right? Do you want the traditions? Do you want the ring?
Yeah,
whatever. Like, what is it you really want? And I think they really wanted us.
You know, and I think this is an interesting topic. So we're close to that time.
This is crazy.
Let's keep it going. So you talked about the traditional things that we're expected to do, and there's a couple of things I want us to think about is, you know, where these traditions started. You know, we say traditional, and a lot of this stuff is newer than we want to give credit for it. Like guys went out here proposing and buying. It was, I'm going to give you my grandmother's ring. You know, I already asked you. We're courting to the point where we already know that we're working towards marriage, right? Mm-hmm. And even with asking the permission, I think it was the relationship I had or we have with those parents. I did not have a bad relationship with my mother-in-law or future mother-in-law. It wasn't as strong as it is now, right? Mm-hmm. Part of it was because we are both very independent and we were in our own city and we kind of created our own life, our world together. So there wasn't anybody else. You know, Z had already moved up here, you know, against a lot of people's advice, you know, like, girl, how you gonna move up there with that old ass dude and he ain't proposed, he ain't did any of this stuff. And she knew what she wanted. So as long as she knew what she wanted, and if that was me, then that's all I needed. That's the only person I needed. But at the same time, it's what Rise was saying. Is it about the proposal, the wedding, or is it the marriage? And I would think, not even think, part of the reason I started this show and I approached you too is because I saw your marriages, right? It wasn't like I have to buy her love. I'm not saying everybody does that, and I'm not saying everybody we're cheap or anything like that. It was, we're in this for the right reason. We're not here for, if he didn't spend this amount, then we can't be together. Because we talked about this before. I knew homegirl. I have a bunch of female friends, and they were like, "Well, he needs to spend between $5,000 and $10,000 in a ring." Like, who the hell is he? Like, you don't even know who he is, and you just put a price tag on he head. So and people that said, "Hey, I can't wait to get married, so I don't have to work." Like, who? You already made this decision about how your life's going to be with somebody that doesn't even exist. Like, these are the things you're going to do. We're going to have 4 kids and all this stuff. Like, really? Like, it's, we found people that we love and we can work with and we wanted to build with, and we made it work, and we make it work, right? Like, and that's the thing. And I don't think a lot of people see that. They're so worried about, these traditions and checking these boxes. So I don't want you to get lost in the box shit. I've seen elaborate weddings, elaborate proposals, and I've seen them not last. Right? I think we're all at that age where when they say 50% of marriages end in divorce, we're like, yeah, they do. Just look around. So my bad. I kind of hauled it on that.
No, it's just it's 3 different unique proposals. It's kind of cool how everybody's experience is different. Because we met Z that night or the next night?
No. You met Z when we were pregnant. Because you guys came. It was like at night because there was another couple here too, and I know y'all had just went to a wedding. Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
So, that's cool, man.
Because we stayed with you when we went to the concert, but then that first one came for the wedding.
Yeah. Rozzy, yours is dope though.
Rozzy is so Rozzy.
It's like in theory, like you said, when he played it out in his head.
I'm about to kill him with this one.
I'm about to kill him with it. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. He's gonna wake up. This is movie.
Hey, Fur, he had her yawning. Oh my God,
Exactly. That's exactly how it was in my mind, man. But
Jen went to the bathroom and everything.
She got slobber on her face.
She ain't noticed.
Rozzy wanted her to wake up prim and proper, hair flowing.
Like, I had good breath. When you said I had produced it like a movie in my head, it was literally that, full face of makeup, like hair done, no bonnet on. Like, in my head, it was gonna be just like that, and it was not. But I will say another thing though is Jen met me where I was. Like, when I talk about the PTSD and stuff, like, I don't think I would have been able to do in the middle of a restaurant, in the middle of a big crowd proposal at that moment in time. Like, I was in a headspace that I could barely go out in public without having panic attacks or like breathing and like having to do shit. So for us, that was a big deal. And she knew that. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do that with all those eyes on me like that. And so that was another reason why I kind of thought of that. Like, how can I do it and make it special, make it something different where I would feel comfortable too in it. So,
yeah, I mean,
and we both were kind of like that. Like, she was introverted like that too. Like, she didn't want all those eyes on her either. So I think it was kind of perfect for us.
Yeah, and another thing, like we don't, and we talked about this before. I don't think most guys grow up dreaming about the proposal and all this stuff. Like you probably don't think about the proposal until you find the person you want to propose to, right?
Yeah,
and then
that's true.
Then we go through, then there's denial and all the stuff that goes with like, man, I'm about to get married, and you go through that. In my mind, just growing up and watching all the proposals I saw were on TV, right? And so all you saw was people saving to get that engagement ring. I ain't know nothing about a wedding band.
Exactly.
I'm like, what? I gotta buy another ring? Like nobody told me this. I didn't think how much my ring was supposed to cost. I didn't know any of this. Like I didn't think. I just knew like all the movies. All you see is him buying that perfect engagement ring, right? I didn't think about that. So I say that to say the traditions and the little small details around proposing, marriage, all this stuff. A lot of guys, especially if you're not around that, like if you don't have a bunch of older brothers or older sisters and people have gotten married and all this, then you're kind of, and Byron, you were one of the first of us to get married, well, there was a summer of the wedding, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you were one of the first of us to get married, and as like what I would consider as adults, like we were still young. We were kids when people were getting married and all that. But this was different. Like you anything you did was above and beyond because you set the bar for all of us at that point, right? It is what it is, man. And y'all still going strong. Y'all been doing this for what, 42 years?
42, man.
Y'all been together since the 90s, bro.
This upcoming June will be like 28 years if you count dating.
Yeah, we got to count dating. Because Z, let her tell it, we've been together 15 years. So in her mind, we've been together since the day we met. She November 9th made 15 years. I'm like, 14 and a half, but we'll round it up. That's cool, bro. Like 28 years. I didn't think, you've been dating since last century. You were dating in the 1900s, bro.
Yeah, as the young people will refer to it as
20th century.
And also I want to put out there, I did once stop a homeboy from buying an engagement ring from Walmart.
I kind of
y'all were privy to that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know a lot, but I don't know if that's the move.
And Z's the only reason I didn't, because I knew I was going to marry her before I told her I was going to marry her, and so I kind of started looking at engagement rings, and I was kind of like you. I was just like, I think this looks nice. I think the wedding ring I ever really saw up close with my mom's growing up. And so I was doing something a little more like that. And then I had a couple of other little options, and it was nothing like she wanted. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that because I just thought you surprised them. I didn't think, I feel like in those movies, they just buy the ring and surprise them and they fall in love. And it's not. But in her mind, vice versa, they're thinking about their wedding ring or engagement ring for years. We just think about the engagement and checking the box on it and making it special enough. No.
So how I broached the subject is we used to watch Bridezillas. Like every Sunday morning, that would be our thing. We'd sit in bed and like watch Bridezillas and laugh at all the craziness. But one of the things that they'd always do is they'd be showing off the ring, like all those little wedding shows and stuff. They show the rings off. And so I started to kind of see what she liked and what she didn't like. She was like, oh, I like that. I don't like that. I don't like this. And then she was like, oh, the halo, I really like that. And so then that's how we kind of broached the subject. And then she kind of found the one. She was like, that's it. I think we watching a commercial or something. And it came by and she was like, that's it. That's the ring I want. And so it was easy to kind of bring it up and stuff. So, guys, if you're thinking about it, watch some wedding shows with your wife or your lady, and maybe, you know, you can get some hints towards that to be able to bring it up and not kind of tip your hand a little bit.
Moral of the story, don't put anything in her drink.
Right.
Co-sign.
I didn't
Yes.
put anything in her drink, though. I didn't slip anything to her. I asked her, did she want a sleeping pill? And she said, yeah. So, yeah. That's what happened.
Hey, let's keep it going. Let's go ahead and close it on out, fellas.
Flex your business with an American Express Business Gold Card. You'll earn 4 times membership rewards points on your top 2 eligible spending categories, like transit and electronics, each month, on up to $150K in combined purchases per year. Plus, you can now earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold, built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
To the listeners, I did a lot of talking, so apologies for that, but I hope you enjoyed some of that. Contentville, powered by Inspire You on Air. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. I do want to say real quick, visit threebrothersnosense.com to get you some merch. We will be in the parade this upcoming Mardi Gras, and if you have on one of our nice hoodies, guess who we gonna aim those throws at? So if you want to get some nice throws, have you some merch on, because we are going to show you favoritism over the rest of the crowd. But I just want to give Usher his props, man. He just wrapped up his residency in Vegas. I can't remember the last time a black male solo artist has garnered the type of attention that he has. But just very happy for him. He broke down crying at the end of his show. I also had a cringe moment when he tried to serenade Mary J. Blige, because she wasn't with all the touchy-feely grab my face. You know, that was kind of like, okay, Usher, back off. But I do want to give him his props, man, because he's been the talk of Vegas for a good how long has it been there? 2.5 years now? So
yeah, something like that.
Props to him. And just want to let the listeners know that the Senate is going to be working on some big things coming up. They're talking about another assault weapon ban. We haven't had that since the 90s. And they're going to try to tackle immigration once again, which seems to always fail. But we'll see what happens this time. So keep your eyes open for those 2 big things.
Appreciate it, bro. Last thing I have is congratulations to Haley one more time, man. She graduates this Friday. So big ups to her on that, and congratulations to her mom that's graduating from University of Alabama next weekend. So Allison, kudos to you as well, man. So that's one of the dopest shots. We did a photo shoot for Haley's graduation photos and stuff, and one of the dopest shots is Allison in her cap and gown, like fixing Haley's cap and gown, and that sight just like warmed my heart that both of them are finishing around the same time, and so it's just a really dope experience for both of them. For Allison to not be a non-traditional student, she had her associates and went back and got her bachelor's, and so that's kind of a really cool thing there. So shout out to both of them, man. And to the listeners out there, just again, love on your folks, love on who is out there, man, who you can love on, because you never know when you're going to lose them, and celebrate their wins. That was actually going to be one of my questions today, was kind of like, what are you most proud of? And so we'll kind of come back around next week, and that's going to be my question. So I'll give you guys some time to think about it. Just think about what are you most proud of in your life, but give your flowers to those folks that are around you, so that when you have a chance to, you can. So that's all I got, man.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I want to preface this by, I know this movie isn't coming out next week, but I know I want people to get ready, and there are some probably early showings. The Color Purple comes out Christmas Day, so people get ready, go buy your tickets, get your purple ready, and all that stuff. I know that's been a hot topic, so just a reminder, go get your purple, because I guess that's what we do now when we go to black movies. It's a dress code. I don't know when that happened.
Matter of fact, I think I will be in no, I won't be in Mobile, but even though I might see about let's rent a movie theater. Just set out a movie theater. Three Brothers No Sense, sponsored theater for Color Purple. Can we sponsor a showing?
Price it.
Okay.
Price it.
All right. We're gonna price it. We're gonna see.
God damn it. What was it? Color Purple. And my birthday's coming up. So I usually don't talk about my birthday coming up, but I'm getting a great birthday gift. My mom is coming into town, and she will be staying with us for about a little more than 2 weeks. So that's the most time I've spent around my mom since the 90s. 2.5 weeks. So that's the longest we've been around each other. So I'm excited about that. So that's an awesome birthday gift. And with that being
my
said,
bad, bro. Yeah, I didn't think about the timing of it. This show will be your birthday. So I was thinking we talk about it next show. So
oh, it's fine. The only reason I think about it is because my mom's coming. But it is what it is. Three Brothers No Sense. 6 rules of podcast. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.
Get some merch.